Failure is such a heavy word. We assign so much meaning to it, sometimes much more than we really ought to. Growing up, I was often told that failure was an opportunity to learn from your mistakes, which I do agree with to a point. But thinking of failure this way still assigns a negative connotation to the word and even pushes us to find a deeper meaning when there always isn't necessarily a meaning there. So this is where we can go down into the inner critic space of blaming ourselves for our mistakes and getting caught up in a cycle of shame and disappointment. So if you're tired of beating yourself up when you fail, here are my thoughts. I've talked about this idea before that always do your best doesn't mean always be perfect. Your best will change from moment to moment and will sometimes feel like you're just barely keeping up. And that's okay. Be gentle with yourself and know that you're doing the very best you can at any given moment. And sure, sometimes that means that you could have done better had you been more rested or less frazzled or had fewer things going on that day. But at that moment, when you were there, you were just doing the best that you could with the energy and the mental white space that you had. Just make sure that you're always doing your best though at any given moment. Commit to everything you're working on, be present, and give it your full attention and energy. If you can do this and fully commit to everything, when you look back on something that didn't go according to plan, you'll know that you gave it everything you had at the time. And honestly, there's nothing else you could have wanted or expected from yourself, right? You just did your best, and that's worth celebrating, not beating yourself up over if it didn't quite work out. Focus on what you shouldn't do. It's great to set goals, don't get me wrong, but if you're so stuck on achieving the outcome, you're setting yourself up to be disappointed when you fail. Disappointment and feeling like you've let yourself down or let others down can lead us to assign so much meaning to those moments of failure. The truth is that failure is a part of your success, and you can't have success without failures. One of the best ways to learn what will work is to determine what won't work. And this technique is commonly used in the coaching world where we're trying to help someone figure out how they want to move forward to achieve their goals. So let's say that you wanted to train for a marathon, but you have no idea where to start and you keep getting stuck after trying to get into a regular training routine. So instead of focusing on what you should do, think of what you shouldn't do. Odds are that list is going to come to you a lot easier. It's a lot easier for us to think of what not to do rather than what's the best course of action. Thinking of our goals in this way helps empower us because we can come up with so many more ideas. Plus, it allows us to see our successes more easily. Instead of only having one idea of success, running that marathon, you're now looking at this big long list of things that you shouldn't do to achieve your goal. So every time you avoid falling into one of those habits or doing one of those things on your don't do list, you're going to be able to notice more success. So let's look at this from a weight loss perspective. If you want to lose weight, what should you avoid? Sitting around on the couch all day? Eating only unhealthy food? Not finding the time to manage your stress? Not exercising regularly? So now, instead of getting hung up on the numbers on the scale and that one cookie that you had on the staff room table, you'll be able to shift your negative perspective on what constitutes failure. Sure, those numbers on the scale may not be changing as fast as you were hoping, but are you a failure if they don't budge? No, absolutely not. You're not sitting on the couch all day. You're trying to find more movement. You're increasing your healthy food intake and you're making more time for yourself to manage your stress. Those are enormous shifts for your life and they need recognition, not dismissal because the numbers on the scale are what you wanted to change. Reflect and find the reasons why it didn't work out. Earlier I mentioned that I do agree that failure is a chance for learning, but not in a what did I do wrong kind of way. Because 99.9% of the time, you're not the problem, and you're not the reason why your goal didn't work out. It has absolutely nothing to do with you. Instead of looking to yourself, take a moment and look at all of the things that were outside of your control that influenced the situation. There are so many things in your environment that could be setting you up for failure that have absolutely nothing to do with you. My client Cindy just couldn't beat the habit of nighttime snacking. No matter how many times she tried, she couldn't stop getting a snack before bed. But then Cindy and I talked about it, and what we realized was it wasn't that she lacked willpower or that she was weak. It was that she took her dog out at night and the door to the backyard was in the kitchen, which means that she was staring at the fridge for 5 minutes while her dog was outside. And all of those tempting leftovers were calling her name, and it was a lot to resist. So after following my 5-step process to change a habit without blaming herself, Cindy now takes her dog out the front door on a leash. before bed. There's no more nighttime snacking and no failure and no blaming herself. So if you'd like to learn how to do this for yourself, then check out the description below where I'll link to the free guide to help you with that 5-step process to change a habit without blaming yourself. And just before I let you go today, I want to talk about one more strategy to help you overcome the blame and shame cycle that often follows failure. And it's one of the trickiest ones to master though. So to truly prevent beating yourself up over failure, you need to detach yourself from the outcome. And what I mean is you need to set your sights high and set big goals, but then know that you're doing everything you can and that there are so many other factors at play here that it would be great to achieve your goal. But you're still going to be okay if you don't. This is a skill that you'll need to be effective at manifestation. Manifestation requires that we let go of how much time it will take as well as the outcome. We give the higher consciousness a general idea of what we want to accomplish, but then release the pressure we put on ourselves to achieve that goal. The whole idea is to set a goal, but detach yourself from the outcome so that you're open to ideas and opportunities that will help you achieve that goal. Is this something that you'd like to learn a little bit more about? Comment below and let me know. You can also follow me on social media at Self Talk Remedy and send me a message to let me know if you'd like to hear more about this, and I'll be sure to cover it in an upcoming episode. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you found this episode helpful, then please help me get the word out. Take a screenshot right now on your phone and share it to your Instagram stories or Facebook with your #1 takeaway from this episode. Don't forget to tag me in it at Self Talk Remedy for a chance to get a shout out here on the channel, and I will also enter you into our monthly draw to win some amazing prizes. At the end of every episode, I leave you with a mantra affirmation for this week, and this week the mantra that I have for you is this: I am doing the best that I can. I wish you all the peace, love, and light this week, beautiful soul. We'll see you next Tuesday.